NFL fans, Dallas Cowboys fans, welcome back to another episode of the Jay All Day Show. I wanted to do another Dallas Cowboys mock draft because there was a big signing. Osa Odighizuwa, the D tackle, just re-signed 4 years, $80 million. He becomes a force in the middle of that defense for years to come, guys. It's huge. They probably could use another D tackle as well. I would like them to upgrade probably off-ball linebacker and the safety positions, and definitely kick out Guyton at left tackle, move him back to right tackle to compete with Terrence Steele. So I'm going to do a full 7-round mock draft for you guys after this news broke, right? Because D tackle becomes not as pressing of a need. We still want to add some depth to that room 100%, right, guys? But I do think adding him kind of pushes that back in our draft cycle, right? Okay, guys, here comes the 7-round mock draft for your Dallas Cowboys after the Osa signing. All right, Dallas Cowboys fans, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button. It's a great free way to support the channel. And if you like this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Cowboys, you're up at pick 12 in the first round. There's a lot of places we could go. If you look at the board right here, Genty, Warren, Starks, Burden, they're all in play, in my opinion. Every one of them. Jerry Jones, I could see him picking Genty, but for me, if I'm the GM of the Cowboys, I'm bringing in another wide receiver at this spot. That wide receiver is Luther Burden, man. What an impressive combine he had. He actually came in at 6 foot tall at the combine. He ran a 4.42 in the 40-yard dash. People were blown away. He also came in over 200 pounds, and the guy's only 21 years of age, man. I know statistically he had a little bit of a down year in 2024. But man, if you watch that straight line catching drill, he's got great strong hands, man. Forces those hands out there. Great ball catcher, man. He is extremely impressive. And honestly, I think you can line him up all over the field. He can line up on the outside. He can line up in the slot and be a terror for defense. Our dude Luther Burden has under a 5% drop rate. Excuse the beeping, guys. There's a huge construction project right next door to me. It's a huge pain in the ass. And he's great against man coverage, right? He's not a monster X wide receiver, right? That's going to go up like A.J. Brown and be like more than a 50-50 guy on those contested catches, as you can see by the stats. But Luther Burden, I think, can really move the chains for the Cowboys, especially with CeeDee Lamb's speed down the field in those 15 to 25-yard routes. I love this pick, man. Luther Burden is going to the Cowboys at pick number 12, really solidifying that wide receiver core that needs another guy, man. CeeDee Lamb can't do it all by himself, man. He's so impressive. All right, Dallas Cowboys fans, we're on the board in the second round, 44 overall. When I look at this board, there's a few guys that jump out at me. Landon Jackson had an incredible combine. 41.5-inch vert. That's like the second best for that position in combine history. He did everything well. He was amazing at the combine. But is he like a Mike Mamula that blows away the combine and can't really play when the pads come on? That remains to be seen, right? But for me, Cowboys fans, a guy who really stands out is Josh Connerly Jr., the left tackle from Oregon, right? 2-year starter at left tackle. Played a few snaps at guard, but he's going to be a left tackle, right? And for the Cowboys, right, what I want to do, Tyler Guyton is not a left tackle. Straight up, he's not. So let's kick him back to right tackle, compete with Terrence Steele, right? He's been okay. Pretty mediocre guy, and not a lot of draft capital used in him, right? So I'd rather Guyton kick over to right tackle. That's where he played at Oklahoma, right? He was a little bit better at that spot because he was pretty trashed all year long. And the dude is still really, really young. He's not even 23 yet. So he got that NFL experience. Let's kick him over to right guard. Let's put our man, Josh Connerly Jr., who's an excellent pass blocker, at left tackle, right? I think he could stick at left tackle. He's got pretty good measurables for the most part. 6'4", 315. I think this is a super solid pick. We get our bona fide number 2 wide receiver. Now we're going to get our left tackle. Kick Guyton over to right tackle. They can compete, and whoever is better gets the start, right? And that just makes our unit a lot better going forward. Connerly falling to us at 44 is just too good to pass up. I love that selection at 44. Now, Cowboys fans, you're up at pick 76. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, there is no 4th round pick, but there's 4 5s. Do we package a couple 5s and move up into the 4th round? That's an option, but there's a lot of value in the middle of this draft in the 4th and 5th round, so I think I'm going to stick there, right? So, 76 overall. Running back definitely interests me in this spot, right? Running back, D tackle interests me as well. So, they're the 2 spots where I'm really looking at adding some depth. Dylan Sampson from Tennessee, super talented guy, man. I'm a big fan of Dylan Sampson. 5'11", 201 pounds, right? He's only 20 and a half years old. I mean, 90 overall grade, 1,500 yards, almost 6 yards per carry. Pretty freaking impressive. Devin Neal is on the board as well. He's an impressive guy. A lot of these D tackles in this range of Josh Farmer, Deion Walker, CJ West, and Peebles, they're going to be there in the 5th round. At least half of them are, right? So those positions, Dylan Sampson seems to make the most sense to me when I'm looking at this overall board. We could bring in a guy like Trapillo to play guard. That's interesting. I do like Chris Paul Jr., the linebacker. We definitely need an off-ball linebacker with Kendricks moving on, right? But for me, we need a running back, man. A bell cow back at 5'11", 200 pounds. I think he could be the guy, man, for sure. So some of the guys I really like in this draft have really been drafted already, unfortunately, right? I do like Gideon. Damian Martinez I actually like as well. But I think Dylan Sampson is a super talented guy. I think he's one of these guys that could really surprise some people and do really, really well. But Damian Martinez is on the board. You know, packaging one of those 5th round picks to move up earlier might make sense for the Cowboys if they want to land one of these bell cow backs. But right now, Dylan Sampson makes the most sense for me. Right, so we got our running back, we got our wide receiver, we got our offensive lineman. So now we're going to move on to the next pick, 150 overall. We got 4 5th round picks, guys. We got to probably go defensive line, corner, safety. That's kind of what I'm targeting right now, right? So I'm looking at the board right now. I want to go interior offensive line. Check out the tackles just for, shits and giggles. Cornerback for sure. And then I want to go D-line. And we'll take a look at edge as well. And why not? Linebacker. Let's do that. These are the positions we're looking at. Kandra from Cincinnati. He's a very interesting player, man. Very, very talented. Could come in right away and start for Zach Martin, man. That makes a lot of sense. At 150 overall. Then we got 170, 172, 174. We got to really make this pick count, right? This one, there's 20 picks in between the next pick, right? So, interior defensive line, I really want to look at, man. I really want to just clear this all out. Let's just look at D-line. Hemingway, Smith, Tufana, and Biggers are all left on the board. Horsley, Cameron Jackson. Hemingway's an interesting guy. Check out his size. A little undersized for me. I need someone big in the middle of this defense. A guy like Tim Smith. Went to Alabama, 6'4", 315, and he's got better each and every year. Solid run defender, almost an 80 grade stopping the run. I like that. Tufana from Utah. Solid player as well. Great run defender. coming in around 308, 6'3". I like that size. Biggers, nah, not so much on Biggers. Horsley from Boston College. He looks pretty damn good too. 84. These D linemen from Boston College, like Ezaraku and him, are super talented, man. 84 overall run grade. Played good programs, not as good as a guy like Tim Smith. Bringing in a guy from Alabama with that kind of size, 6'4", 214, I'm getting my D linemen because I don't know how many of them are going to be left, right? So now, we're picking at 170, 172, and 174. Nick Nash, another wide receiver, could be interesting, right? So, Cowboys fans, we went Burden, Connerly, Dylan Sampson, Tim Smith. Now we got the 3 fifth-round picks. Pretty much all in a row, right? Nick Nash is interesting for sure. Danny Stutzman, the linebacker, excellent run defender, man. Not so great in coverage, which you don't love to see. You need to be able to cover a little bit in the NFL. So, Ewers is on the board. Upton Stout from Western Kentucky. Bringing in a safety, to upgrade that room. 5'9", 182. Not really the size I'm looking for. Man, Nick Nash makes a lot of sense, man. I do love Nick Nash. Fortune from South Carolina. I want to bring in another cornerback. This guy is just too good for the Gamecocks to be this late in the draft. He's going to get drafted soon. I love Fortune in the 5th round. And then if we look, Upton Stout ended up going to Buffalo. So now, taking a look, maybe a guard. A guard seems to make some sense in this spot. Nick Nash is so good. We could use another wide receiver, man. And Nick Nash, 6'3", 195. Great size. Great size. Cody Simon, the linebacker from Ohio State. Played a little bit in the slot, mostly in the box, and a little bit on the D-line. Very versatile guy. With Eric Hendricks walking, Cody Simon from Ohio State, another big program guy. I love that pick in the 5th round, 172 overall, right? Nick Nash is on the board. Oh, man, Logan Brown from Kansas. He's a really good offensive lineman. I'm bringing in some more beef for the O-line, guys. Now we're picking at 189 overall. We got a linebacker. We got 2 offensive linemen. We got our running back. Tonka Hemingway, the D lineman. Pretty solid player from South Carolina. Ingram Dawkins, the edge defender from Georgia. I like these big program guys. I really do. Caleb Ransall, Brady Cook, Jack Nelson, the tackle from Wisconsin. Another pretty solid late round pick for people looking for offensive linemen. So we got 189, 211, 249, right? So as I'm scanning the board, when I look at the Dallas Cowboys, bringing in another edge could be interesting here. Dawkins, Tonka Hemingway, bringing in some D-line help. He pretty good pass rusher, not the best against the run. I don't necessarily love that. Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech is on the board. Brady Cook. See if any of these guys kind of stand out. Alik Arnold from USC had a really good year in 2023. He regressed considerably. Jake Majors, the center. Jay Higgins is on the board. Dean Clark from Fresno State. He's on the board. Jack Slater. Bringing in another guard, We got the tackles. Ricky White from UNLV. Pretty talented guy. I want to bring in another wide receiver, man. These wide receivers dipping this late. Ricky White from UNLV goes to the Cowboys at 189 overall. Now, Cowboys fans, you're up 211 overall now, right? I definitely want to look at the safety spots. Malachi Moore from Alabama. I love the big programs. Got better each and every year. Missed tackle rate under 10%. I love that. Malachi Moore is a great 6th-round pick. And now we're up drafting in the 7th round. We take a look at our picks. Luther Burden, Josh Connerly Jr., Dylan Sampson. We got our DN. We got a cornerback. We got linebacker. We didn't get edge. I don't know how much of, a need that is right now. But bringing another guy in the room that can rush the passer a little bit would make some sense here. Bringing in an edge guy later in the draft. Colin Oliver, man. got banged up a little bit. And these are the guys in the 7th round that could be great for your team, right? Pretty good grade in 2022 and 2023. 7 sacks. He got 2 in the first 2 games, right? This guy's pretty damn good. 6'2", 240. Definitely a little bit slight of frame. Odighizuwa from Miami of Ohio. 6 sacks, 16 hits, 44 hurries. These are good pass rushing guys. I like his size a little bit better at 6'3", 256. Nate Matlock from Pitt, not for me. And Ponder from Cal Poly. Okay everywhere. But for me, Odighizuwa probably makes the most sense, right? He's got pretty decent size, 6'3", 256. And that's it, guys. Got some edge help late in the draft to fill out this roster a little bit. I'm excited about this draft. I think we crushed the first few rounds. Luther Burden, A grade. Josh Connerly Jr., A+ grade. Dylan Sampson, A grade. Fortunate, B grade. Cody Simon, B grade. B+ for Odighizuwa late in the 7th round, the edge defender. I want to bring in some more wide receivers to this room. We got Luther Burden, but Ricky White, bringing in bodies, man. If one guy gets hurt, we need another guy to step up, right? We need to add depth to the wide receiver room. That's why I did that. So Burden, Connerly, Sampson. We crushed the first 3 rounds, Cowboys fans. A- overall grade from PFF. I love the first few rounds of this draft. Let me know in the comments below. Do you like this draft? Do you not like this draft? With Osa being re-signed, I got 1 D tackle and Tim Smith, who I actually really, really like. Giving us an F. That makes no sense. We need to add some bodies to this room, even though we signed Osa. But it's not going to be a priority in the first 3 rounds, bringing Osa back. So that's why I made those choices. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Peace.